Howdy ho, folks. We are Tourney gaming. And we'll see how it goes, right? It's a 3-leg single Elim tournament, so if you have not seen these being hosted by Realm here, Realm is the person who's been hosting these a lot lately. The way they function is each of the 3 tournaments that he's hosting is an individual single Elim tournament. If you get knocked out in one of them, you can sign up for one of the ones launching later so that you get another opportunity to not only get games in, but also maybe walk away with a win. So it's pretty cool. I really like the format. It's been very fun so far. And we're just going to run it and see what we can do, honestly. Nothing too crazy going on other than some straight gaming for the tournament. We might actually run this guy. Maybe... Against high elves, skull cannons are pretty useful. Throwing axes are good too, but depends a little bit more on your opponent's starting army. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. We may actually go for Foe Seeker here, because Herald is a little bit squishier than Skull Taker. I'm going to be running him. He's really strong. Tormentor Sword is just really good for Khorne. It's only a 9-second snare, but you'd be surprised how many times you can catch somebody out real bad if they fumble just one little engagement. Try and take advantage of that. We got the Bloodwake Berserkers. We're going to be on Norscan Rise for the first round here. We're going to play side points with the Fleshhounds early. Berserkers and Herald can go hold a point down. And then Sila's going to run around to protect the Skull Cannon in the open field with the Marauders kind of posted up near it. And maybe one Marauder will go push out to the side point on Rise to grab the points. It's kind of the idea, at least. I wonder what triple Forsaken will be like. We do need Blood Beasts and Minotaurs to protect against swarming Silverhelms and whatnot. They will rip you up if you're not careful. Maybe we'll cut this guy, grab that, and get one Chaos Warhound of Khorne. Chaos Warhounds of Khorne are really not that bad. They can run in and jump under the Herald and get a bunch of extra leadership, because this guy does function like Skull Taker in that he gives off Totem and Revel of Slaughter, Revel in Slaughter together. He's also got Locus of Wrath, which is a crazy melee attack buff. Absolutely bonkers how strong that is. So I kind of like this. I think this is a solid little army here. Up against Realm. Realm and I have had some really close games. So I'm ready when he is. And we'll just kind of throw it out there and see what we can get. Definitely could end up being a little bit tough, but this is a fairly favorable matchup for Khorne, I would say. It's not the easiest in the world because the High Elves can definitely skirmish you really hard, but you've got good mobile elements, you've got really strong infantry that can win just about every trade you need them to, you've got skull cannons who can shoot up elite infantry, same with the throwing axes. As long as you just don't let the High Elves get some just wicked magic off on you, and pick off some of your isolated elements, all of their mobility, then usually Khorne's more than equal to the task of beating the High Elves. It's a little bit up and down, though. You know, it's very even nowadays. Before the update, I would say this is probably about 60-40 in Khorne's favor. Now it's probably closer to a 50-50. That's fine by me, though. I'm happy with the current power level. What's up, brother? How's it going, Daniel? Haven't had a chance to stream much this week, which I've been a little bit sad about, but I got some time here today, so we're going to try and make it work. And yeah, we're going for a nice, big Fleshhound cap on the number 3 objective early, I think. We're going to move the Herald and the Berserkers through the trees here. It's going to be a very safe position to advance up through. Marauders are going to chill out here in the open field for just a bit. Probably going to move one over to the number 3. But if he starts out with a bunch of stuff up here, we'll just go and cap the number 1 and the 2, and then we'll move over to the number 3 once he's forced to reposition his units off the high ground. Now, the high ground on this map is pretty nice to hold as a faction that is a little bit disadvantaged in the ranged game. There's a lot of cover just by sitting behind the hill and up in the forests. On either side here, it's pretty easy to cut off reinforcements that are trying to move up here as well, since there's not a lot of pathing options. Fighting over the number 2 against the High Elves is going to be a little bit scary. I'm running the Skull Cannon just because I want to be able to shoot early. Rather not be at a true range disadvantage here. Yeah. I've been busy with work, so, you know, it's been fine, though. It's rewarding work. Alright, is Rome ready? Okay. We got a small army starting off here, but we do have really strong units in our army. I mean, blowing Berserkers out early, especially being able to avoid missile fire in the trees, is going to make it very hard to cap that number 1 objective. He's got a bunch of Valyrian Reavers. Move up, move up. He's got Ship's Company coming out here. He's got a Bolt Thrower. He's got the Omen of Assyrian, Tyrion, Mage of Life. So he's going for some heal strats. We're going to move over to the number 2. I don't really want to, we can chase Valyrian Reaver archers. We'll just get shot up, though. It's not super worth it. We need to just keep Monkey near the Skull Cannon, because the Skull Cannon can die pretty quickly. Definitely don't want to leave it to get ripped apart. So we're going to get a shot off here on the Ship's Company. Miss, of course. Classic Skull Cannon. If we can actually catch one of his units on the ground here, that would be massive. We're actually going to go fight over the point there. We're going to grab this real quick. He's going to come over here. Okay, this is where we get ready for the catch, because he might land. He doesn't. Very smart. That would definitely have been a massive mistake. It would have been pretty catastrophic for him. Let's get our guys up in the woods. And the Skull Cannon we can kind of twirl around a little bit. Misses the shot here. We get the cap. We're going to rotate up to the high ground again. Keep our Marauders here. We're going to summon out some Minotaurs because we need some mass. We might actually just pull back off this point. In fact, don't really need to hold on to it because we already have a couple of points. And we're going to try and grab this high ground again. You can see my opponent is going to be trying to rotate over there. I'm going to get a nice flank shot on the Ship's Company and maybe really pop these guys open. Get a nice chunk of damage. He really wants to get this Skull Cannon. Get the Fleshhounds up here. I think we're going to bring a Blood Beast in as well. It's good to start developing out your mobility. You definitely want to have it on the field as quickly as possible against the High Elves. Yeah, he's gonna shoot my Flesh Hounds. He's gonna do a bunch of damage too. Actually got some really accurate shots off there, which is very frustrating. Let's move away. We're gonna actually push here with our big force. We might be able to overwhelm his defenses back there. Really doesn't have nearly as much as you might think. The Flesh Hounds, they're gonna go through the middle here. We're gonna start stressing my opponent's micro as much as possible. And we really want to catch the Fireborn. See, they're chilling back here. I think we can ratchet up the pressure a little bit and probably catch one or two of these important units for my opponent. Yeah, he's got more Silver Helms, so we need another Blood Beast. We're gonna maneuver around his infantry. He's got more Illyrian Reavers coming in. We got a good attacking force here. This is a risky strategy. We may actually try and bait him with the charge. Let's attack here with these Marauders. They're just Marauders. They're not like the most important thing in the world. They'll grind down a ship's company fairly effectively, though, so it will be nice to have them in there. Skull Cannon, we need to actually get microing again. And let's attack his infantry while he's a little bit split. Can actually get this Illyrian Reaver, I think. Miners are going to position here. The infantry are going to position here. Can we hit him with the Tormentor Sword? Come on, give it to me, please. I'm begging. Oh, his caster's a little out of position, so let's try and get this caster. That's a huge catch. That is absolutely massive. Let's get the Bloodweight Berserkers out of there. Let's try and just chunk this guy down now. We can keep the units here, kind of fighting and scrapping together. And let's get my Blood Beasts out, and we can go after the Fireborn. And we're gonna get a massive melee attack off here, which is gonna be super clutch. The grind's gonna be a little bit rough, but we do actually have Prehensile Tail on Silo, which is actually really powerful, so it's gonna start chunking through the Fireborn very quickly, as you can see. And yeah, he's got some good stuff in here, but we just need to keep our Herald alive, and we just absolutely rinsed the Fireborn. They are super dead now. We can push back in here with the Blood Beasts and these guys. These Blood Beasts and Silo are going to continue scrapping here. The Omen of Asturian's a little tough. Definitely a scary unit. Let's kill this. We need to make sure we kill the Silver Helms. And we've got the Bloodweight Berserkers mixed in here, which is awesome. Need to get my guy in because we do need the melee attack. Get down in here. We've got a ton of supplies, so I'm going to start summoning out Forsaken to push the field. And a Korngor, and we're just going to start getting up here. Valley Trading is even, but we did kill his caster, remember? The caster kill is huge. And a Tormentor Sword here, and trap these guys. And let's get the brutes out of here. We'll have the Blood Beasts keep pummeling the Omen of Asturian, because we should be able to kill it here. It's definitely been a little bit up and down, this battle. Struggling to get kills on some of these units, but I think we're about to kill the Omen at the very least. Just going to be a massive kill, and we shut down his very annoying ballista back there. And we've got a huge chunk of infantry to come up and secure points. Just kill the Omen. Kill the Omen. That's all I care about right now. Oh, he's got his caster back in, which is a little rough. And go back to the points. Bloodweight Berserkers are still doing good. Omen of Asturion is so close to dying. We need to kill these Reavers. We've got Locust of Wrath going off, which is going to give me a nice chunk of damage. Can we kill these guys? Come on. Kill them. Kill them, please. Okay, the Omen got a heal of some kind off. He is routing though. We're gonna have the Furies run this thing off the field because it is routing, so it's not gonna be able to stay on here. Just need to make sure that we keep going. Summon. Marauders posted up. We got some nice ammo available on the Skull Cannon, which is going to be perfect for killing these Sword Masters. We need to pull the Climbers back. I'm playing a little bit loose with them. And summon the Minotaurs so we can get them back in a minute. A Horsemen are going to be really nice now because he has actually run out of ammo on most of his skirmishers back there, which means my guys are going to be in a really good spot for the late game. So they'll actually be able to skirmish very effectively against the High Elves. We're gonna move Marauder, a beat up Marauder, and a Forsaken over, and Realm's just gonna call it. He is in a really bad spot. I mean, he lost the Omen. I ran it off the field. He lost the Ballista. He was out of ammo. He didn't really have much to do against the Herald. And Scylla got 2,200 value. Scylla is crazy strong, man. I'm telling you, this guy is an absolute world-class fighter. Unbreakable single entity with prehensile tail, especially against cavalry factions, can be really disgusting. He can also bring the Rampage. I've done Rampage and Tail together. I find it better to just do one or the other, because he starts getting real expensive. The cheaper you can keep Scylla, the better, because it just means more uptrades and more units in your starting army. So you've got a little bit more time to work with. Fleshhounds are really bad, but they did occupy a Silverhelm while we got the super strong early game fight. So, yeah, clutch Furies, dude. That's the thing about Khorne, you know, when the decisive moment of action comes, if you've got your units positioned well enough, it's almost impossible for your opponent to beat you, right? You should always have a advantage just on a regular basis by virtue of the Mark of Khorne, giving your units frenzy. And if you've got a Herald or Skull Taker, that becomes even better because of how much melee attack they give everything. I mean, especially the Herald. Locust of Wrath is wildly underrated, I think. And again, Tormentor's Sword is very impactful. The Blood Beasts were really strong that game. The Minotaurs ended up not doing as well. They did get dogpiled by the Fireborn coming in from behind them, so that was a little rough. But because my opponent had so many big targets, he had to focus on the Minotaur unit, he had to focus on the Herald on the throne, he had to do something about Scylla, and then the Bloodweight Berserkers were running around being really disruptive. You know, these guys cost 1,750. They got 1,200 value, which is actually pretty good for them. Especially coming in early game when your opponent's usually going to be hard focusing them with missiles. Definitely nice. I've stopped using Furies quite as aggressively in melee combat. They're really good, of course, but I'm trying to use them a little bit more as support pieces. Running units off the field, diving into fights that are already going on, just like flying over the head of enemies and landing on the rear to get leadership breaks, stuff like that. That's usually where I find them to be more useful, especially right now. People have a very good idea of what to do against Fury units currently. That can be a little bit lackluster. I'm going to report the game, and I've got some other replays that are worth a watch. Come on, Bracket, get in here. Alright. So, 1-0 over Realm. Realm and I have played 3 times now. I've gotten a win over them all 3. We've had really close games, though. And one of them I think I saved I'd really like to show off right now. I've got some tournament matches that I have been able to play. Sitting down to actually stream them has been a little bit tough, so this is a really good match. This one was... oh my god, this one was crazy. So, it's me and Realm again, facing off against one another. You can see it's Tomb King's Warriors of Chaos this time, though. I'm bringing a nice, huge infantry corps, just all deep on the infantry, because Tomb Kings are very good at killing skirmishers in the early game. They've got great horse archer cavalry that can really poke marauder horsemen especially. Didn't really want to be at a disadvantage like that early. Plus, you've got Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance. This is a very strong anti-skirmish tool. I mean, not only is it a double power Melkoths, essentially. Like, compare Usirian's to... where is Lord of Shadows? Yeah, Melkoth's here is 13 seconds for 6 winds of magic. And Usirian's here is 22 seconds for 10 winds of magic. Not quite double the duration, but also not quite double the cost. Plus this lower speed by 25% too. So it can make for the skirmish game going very heavily in the favor of the Tomb Kings, which is not ideal. That's the point of having all the infantry. Just tons of HP and bodies for my opponent to get through. Just Marauder Bearmen all over the place. Very annoying. Sticky unit, obviously. Arguably a little overtuned right now, but if it's not banned, I'm going to take advantage of it right now. I'm trying to get some tournament wins, because, you know, I've been playing around and doing fun builds in a lot of these other tournaments, so I'm trying to get into the swing of things with the Warriors of Chaos and see what I can do. Dreadmaw is my only anti-skirmish tool, basically. I'm just running it because it's really good damage. I mean, the Burrow ability, or the Surface, and then its other little Explosion Radius are both very strong AoEs, and really effective against light cavalry like this. It can be very disruptive also. You can see it just completely stops the momentum of these units as they try to push past. And Dreadmaw with a little bit of damage there. I gave it a Chevron because I had a little bit of gold left over, and it's going to get dogpiled here by the War Sphinx and the Sphinx of Uskep and Kata. So I'm just going to use the other Burrow ability to jump away, and then I go right back underground. Definitely want to avoid as much of this damage as possible. You know, it can get a little bit painful if you sit there and take any swings from your opponent. Aspiring Champions are hanging around, doing what they do best. 1100 gold unit with some pretty strong power levels, generally speaking. I've got the Crown of Domination. I actually almost cut it, but then I remembered that Archaon doesn't cause terror passively. He needs the crown to cause terror, and that's important for him so he doesn't rout fighting something like the Sphinx of Uskep. It just guarantees that your Archaon doesn't break at an inopportune moment and get run off the battlefield, which is really painful. So you can see I'm pushing deep for the #1 objective here. I've got a million infantry. I've got some Chaos Knights with lances. The Dreadmaw's going over there, and we're controlling the #3. Their big infantry corps. They're taking a lot of damage, though. War Sphinx is just chewing through these guys right now. Not really a whole lot I can do about it, though. We're just trying to maintain infantry presence there. to keep the caps while I bring out my mobility so I can start trying to sweep some of these units off the field. We get a nice charge against the horse archers here. I'm going to pull back with my knights now. Don't want to push too deep and have the Ushapti on the flank and the skeleton horsemen on the flank as well. Dreadmaw's moving in. It's going to keep shadowing and contesting the horse archers. The other elements maneuver elsewhere. A pop fighter die, and the Chaos Knights do get it. You don't have to stay around there either. It's a, you know, active buff. It just goes directly onto the unit, and then you can run away with them. Or run away with Archaon and leave them to their own devices, so they just crush the horsemen here. Take a little bit of damage, but nothing too bad. Got about 300 value out of it. Ushapti attacking the flank of my Hellscourge Marauders, not great for me. Dreadmaw is getting on top of these Nehekara warriors, who are going to be finishing off the Slaneshi warriors pretty quickly. Marauder Bearmen moving, and they're going to start chunking through these guys' HP, and we get a nice burning head down the Nehekara warrior unit. Weren't super, wasn't the best cast in the world, but get a decent little rotation from it as well. It avoids most of my Bearmen and just absolutely smacks down the skeleton spears there, instantly disintegrating the unit and Archaon with a nice little chunk of value here. He's trying to hit this freaking Bone Giant, but I don't know what was going on. Oh my god, really? There's one horseman between him and the Bone Giant. He can't hit it. Embarrassing. So Archaon's struggling over there a bit. It's definitely not going great. And nice sneaky snake summon. The Eyes of the Desert come out to screen for his horse archers. So I'm going to dogpile on top of those guys with a Chaos Knight unit with the lances from the back. And then the Marauder Bearmen are going to push in from the front and get on top of the Eyes of the Desert. And Archaon's going to move over and start chunking those guys down. The big SE Goon Squad is still trying to clear my infantry. I really feel like my opponent spent too much time doing this. I mean, the Sphinx and the both of the Sphinxes, really, have been getting pretty damn good value. I mean, you can see they're both about equal with one another. It's just a shame my opponent hasn't been able to cap that point, because look at the value lead I've got on the objectives currently. My Dreadmaw's back underground, not amazing value on it right now. I'm busy microing elsewhere, so I'm not giving it any orders right now. Not too big of a deal for me. Kotep gets smacked in the face by Archaon. Gets one good swing, and then I got a nice Spirit Leech on him, so trying to chase him down, but a good summon of the Horsemen to just blob up all over Archaon and keep him from pushing through. He's going to get trapped up here, which is a bit of a shame, but we did take down the Eyes of the Desert in the process. Archaon with another good fight or die there actually gave the Bearmen and the Chaos Knights the power level they needed to get through these guys. But Chaos Knights have really been struggling with these guys. I've been trying to figure out how they can be used to maximum advantage. They just seem like a pretty lackluster unit right now. Not really sure if there's anything that needs to be changed for the Knights. Probably just the way that I'm utilizing them, to be honest. Bit of a shame. Opponent does grab my number 2 objective here, and he has finally cleared all my infantry outside of the couple of remaining aspiring champions on this point. I've got a couple Chaos Spawn moving over here. They're just continuing to hold this point for me, and I'm trying to pummel down the Sphinx and the Cimmerian War Sphinx. Neither of those targets taking a lot of damage. These guys don't have a ton of AP. They're fairly effective against big units. It's not terrible damage, but definitely not the most efficient use of their time. But they're unbreakable, so it's not the end of the world that they're just sitting and chewing on some of those units in here. And we're going to grab my back point again here. Number 1 is going to flip too, so cap situation's starting to look a little rough, and my opponent is actually up in value on me right now. Archaon keeps getting blobbed up by these damn horsemen, so I'm going to drop another Burning Head to try and clear them. They've been very effective so far. 1400 on Archie, but he's struggling again. Just a couple of these guys doing a great job of locking him down, but I'm just force-pathing him through at this point. He's going to try and get free, and we're going to see what we can do about the Bone Giant or some of these other units. Another Chaos Spawn and a Cockatrice coming out. Cockatrice wants to kill Kotep here. I'm throwing it in to try and get the Gaze ability off on him. It is a really nice snare. It lasts 32 seconds. Plus, this thing's fairly fast and has poison, so it's usually pretty good at getting little horsebound single entities like this guy. This was my X factor in case my opponent brought somebody like Kotep, but for whatever reason, this big bird is being really stupid. I mean, it had an attack order and it just wasn't hitting Kotep. It was like jogging beside him. You can see the ability has been procced and has been going off for a little while now, and it just hasn't actually been doing any damage. Cockatrice does finally get a good shot in here against him, and the Sphinx of Uskaf is about dead here. Cockatrice got a nice shot in against it as well. Chaos Knights with the Lances are trying to drag down Kotep himself. He is very lightly armored, so the weapon strength on the Chaos Knights can actually be very effective. Crown of Domination is keeping these guys from routing out, and good to heal on the Sphinx. That Restore is proccing, but we do have fire damage coming in from Archaon. Thank goodness he's got that on his sword. Otherwise, the Sphinx of Uskaf would probably last even longer on the field than it will be here. Another nice Burning Head. Going through most of the skirmish cavalry, that Burning Head is wavering a little bit as it's going through them. Not hitting them square and getting it quite enough damage, but Archie is able to bring down the big monster, and we're going to start bullying this Necrotect. These guys are weak to fire damage, so excellent opportunity for me to kind of beat up on them. It looks like the Burning Head actually bounced off the wall and came back in to hit the Horse Archers again. Dreadmaw was fighting the War Sphinx and the Sphinx for a minute. It was occupying a lot of their attacks. Now it's going to get some damage with the Burrow ability, and we're going to start bullying some of these Skeleton Horse Archers. It's getting some nice value here. It's got almost 1,000, which is how much it costs, so very efficient little single entity for me to have out here. Necrotect is running for his life. Archaon just beating the crap out of this guy. Does have Vambraces of the Sun, which is a very powerful debuff. It gives the blinded contact effect. Chaos Spawn, this one is going to drag down the War Sphinx with the rallying Cockatrice finally getting in here and getting a little bit of damage off. Had like 0 value before that, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's starting to do something now. Got some throwing axes helping my Bearmen against the Ushapti here. I'm focusing down the non-summon Ushapti. My opponent did get Realm of Souls all the way up, and he dropped it here on this Bearman. Other Bearman is getting dragged down by the non-summon variant. So we're just using my Horsemen to try and clear this thing. And then we're going to recap my number 2 objective, and then we're going to try and get the number 3 back, hopefully. As the Desert come back in, Dreadmaw, the few Chaos Spawn that are here, and the Cockatrice doing surprisingly well against these guys. The Restore is keeping them at full health. None of these units are doing enough damage to get any model kills yet, but Archaon getting on the back of this fight starts debuffing that healing, and immediately you can see their HP really starting to drop here. Marauder throwing axes are in melee right now. That's just so Archaon doesn't take any extra damage here. And you can see we're starting to fold this unit up again, which is huge. Eyes of the Desert are a very powerful unit if you allow them to get their attacks in. They just do tons of damage at range, so dogpiling them in melee combat and just dragging them down there is usually the most effective way of removing them. Can be a little bit sad and annoying because they will do damage in melee combat. It's not nearly as bad though. Their bonus is respectable at 18. Melee defense is fairly low though, and the base melee attack is not great. Infantry usually are the way to go about pushing them down because these guys are really not that fast. Eyes of the Desert are honestly fairly slow. Good charge with the Skeleton Horseman. He gets right on the back of this Marauder throwing axe. It's a fairly healthy one too, and he is going to rout it. This other one is running away because the Bone Giant was shooting it. Bone Giant with about 965 value, which is decent. And the Dreadmaw fighting here with Archaon. It's actually keeping these Ushapti away from Archie right now, and Archie is trying to kill the Necrotect. Can't quite find an avenue to get in on him. But 3,500 value on Archie, and we've got some Hellscourge Marauders moving up. We do grab the number 2 objective. The Tomb Guard are very beat up here. They're getting dragged down by the Bearmen. Cap weight, always a problem for the Tomb Kings. My opponent just can't hold the objectives quite the same as me, but he has evened up the objective totals here, as you can see. You know, we're about even with one another now, and it's getting really scary for me. I need to start grabbing these points, and he's stuffing with the horsemen back here, doing a really good job of keeping my infantry from getting up on the points in a timely manner. Marauder throwing axes, fighting the skeleton horseman in the back here. Cockatrice rallying. He's only got 600 HP. He's just had some problems actually hitting units, but I'm going to use it to just YOLO into the Bone Giant. He's trying to shoot Archie. The Dreadmaw's actually eaten a couple of shots from it. Now it's going to shoot my Hell Scourge warriors. They're holding up really well against the Ushabti. The Dreadmaw and Archie are doing the damage here. Little bit of damage from the Hell Scourge Marauders, but they're really not doing that much. They're just, you know, they're cap weight for the number 3 objective. They're disruption, damage mitigating units, really. Almost about to grab the number 3, and we do get the double cap back just in time. My opponent had just overlapped me. Cockatrice gets a few attacks in, but then breaks again, and it's shattered, and it's going to run off the map, but close to its value back. You know, those things can be a little bit temperamental, so honestly, it's not the end of the world what I did actually get out of it. I just wish it had done a little bit more. So I did grab the number 3. I need to get the cap weight up here. We did kill the skeleton horsemen that were stuffing me back, so 2 bearmen are going to the middle objective. Rage is fairly heavily charged up on one of them, and the other is fresh out onto the field, so we're going to have to get up here nice and quick. Nahakara Warrior gets up on the number 3, and the Dreadmaw did disrupt my opponent's advance for a moment, but he is able to get up here now. Thankfully, the Ushabti are basically gone before they have the cover of the infantry, though. It's going to make it a little bit easier for me, and both Bearmen just able to get on this point and slow down this cap. They are getting attacked by a couple of one tattered horseman and a fairly healthy skeleton horseman here. You see that beautiful damage from the explosion aura on the Dreadmaw, getting me some nice value there. Hasn't actually fired any of its ammo because I've been using it very aggressive in melee. It's really not awful in melee combat. The immune to flanking helps it against helps it in infantry fights, so it doesn't die quite as quickly as some other single entities do. Archie is just going after the Bone Giant. It's still got some ammo. I don't really want to leave it on the field, so I'm just trying to use this guy to bully it. Bone Giant's never going to hit Archie. He's got way too much melee defense. He hits it very consistently because it's also very weak. Melee defense just means that it's not going to do a whole lot. Some throwing axes were helping out there as well, and we were going to push past and get up on this number 1 objective because my opponent did actually cap the number 3. I do need to find a way to grab this point because you can see I'm starting to fall behind, and any amount of time that my opponent is holding a double cap on me is a very dangerous proposition. He can just keep reinforcing the number 3 if he wanted to. I jumped out over here on the number 1 because he's going to have to summon horsemen in, and I've got a decent amount of infantry and cap weight here with the Knight, Bearman, Archie is another 3, so we're going to be trying to grab this out, and then the grind is going to favor me on the number 3 objective here in the middle. Bearmen just have way too much HP to get through. Skeleton Warriors aren't going to do it. Nahakara Warriors might be able to win against one of these guys, but with 2 on the field, it's going to be a little too much. And the Dreadmaw, I'm just using in melee again. 1800 value on this thing. Very, very, very effective this game. I'm waiting on the abilities. Deep Tunneling, I'm waiting to use. Just try and blow up some of the warriors or some of these horsemen as they're piled in here. Grabbing the number 1 is awesome. Bearmen are just kind of chasing some of the skirmishers around. He's going to be trying to overwhelm the number 2 objective over here. I've got the Chaos Knight Lances moving around. They're going to get a good charge off on the Skeleton Horsemen. They are technically fighting in the trees. Not quite, thankfully. I don't know why they're not doing so much damage here. I think they just missed their charge a little bit for some reason. Maybe they dropped the orders they were getting into combat. That can happen. It's very frustrating, but you can see we've got plenty of infantry numbers on the number 3, and we're going to be able to grab this, and look how close this freaking game ended up being, dude. We secure the triple cap, and my opponent ends up going down in a very, very close game. Razor close, in fact, I would say. A couple of different plays and probably would have ended up dead. Alright, our next round opponent is prepared for us. Yeah, Archie carried hard that game. 4,500, Dreadmaw almost doubled its value up. There were a couple of times I was a little lax with it. I definitely could have used it slightly better. Still pretty good. Knights were the weaker point of this build. Same with the spawn, but we had enough damage done with the throwing axes, Archie, and some of these other tools to make up the difference, and we were able to just grind it out by the end with the infantry. The infantry didn't get me great value, but they were just good cap weight, and anytime you can stuff back Tomb Kings, you're doing pretty good. They just fall apart against good positioning and good objective play. Molly is probably going to be playing Vampire Counts here. I don't know if I want to play Khorne into that right now. Actually, I think I might. He could be playing something else. He's been branching out some, so... Warriors of Chaos or Khorne are kind of where I'm at right now. They're the two factions I'm enjoying playing the most. Let's do one more Khorne game at least, before we move on. Khorne versus Lizards. Hell yeah, dude. Okay. Very fun. I've got a lot of experience in this matchup. I think we're also on a fairly favorable map for this. This is, what? Yeah, oh, Celestial Lake. That's fine for Khorne. It's going to be a little hard for the Lizards to use their skirmish tools and long-range units here. Not quite going to be the same problem for me. I've got good grind capability. And I've also got... The Hellforged Bellers doesn't need a lot of space to shoot, really. It's fairly short range as is. It's actually a little more favored on maps like Celestial Lake, where the spacing can be a little bit more congested. Apparently Molly just won this matchup, so... Oh, whoops. Wrong. One. He just beat Khorne with the Lizards, so we're gonna have to, you know, be prepared for a tough fight. I can't imagine it's gonna be particularly easy, but... We're gonna go for our strategy as of late. Try and kind of bully my opponent here. You know, Scar Bloodwrath on this map might not even be a bad call. Although Double Cultist would be pretty good. I think we might go for the, grind. Cultists can be a little weak against Lizards, though. They've got some tools to actually kill these guys. That's the one thing I'm worried about. Skull Reapers, not terrible, not great, though. Warriors of Khorne, not really a solid unit in this matchup, in my opinion. They falter pretty badly, actually, in my experience. Could go for a baseline Wrathmonger. I don't really need the Bloodwake Berserkers here. Bringing this for the Gate of Khorne is really strong. It's going to be very, very rough for my opponent when this the Bloodletter summons come out. I can use this right behind his front line to kind of roll up the Lizard units. Which I think might actually be the play. We can just get a bunch of Marauders. start crowding out space against the skinks early. 1 Chaos Moorhound early on. Minotaurs are definitely the play against the lizards. Hellforge Bellowers, I don't know if we need. Definitely need some Corngors here. Really good at stopping the momentum of Cold One Riders. They can be really disruptive, so I don't really want to deal with that. We'll get a couple Furies in. One more Horseman, I think, is going to be a solid middle ground. Maybe a couple Bloodletters. We'll cut 1 Corngor. Maybe we'll keep 3 Corngors. See, Fleshhounds are bad on this map because they don't have Strider. They're just going to get rolled up. I think we might actually go for another Minotaur. Because they do have Woodsmen. They will be really, really effective just kind of fighting in the middle pit. A lot of infantry, some missiles. Missiles that are good against Croxagores, very importantly. Sacred Croxagores can be a bit of a problem in this matchup for Khorne, so, you know, you gotta be mindful of that. Alright, I think we're good to run it. I trust Molly to not have stream snipe. I don't think he was, because he readied up almost immediately. Oh yeah, I do like Spawn. Spawn actually have some teeth to them. They can be pretty effective. They're a little weak to just getting shot to death, though, by a skink cohort. Which is the reason why I'm not bringing them here. The Woodsman trait for the Minotaurs is just so strong here. I really don't want to pass that up, to be honest. We actually have a bigger army than my opponent, which is a very rare thing to see. I'm not really worried about it, necessarily, though. I'm going to keep these Warhounds. I'm actually going to use them in the tree line here. We're going to push aggressively to try and grab ground and positioning here. Wrathmongers will start back on the number 1, and the Horsemen will run forward and try and get up on the number 3 objective to grab that quickly. I'm going to use the Warhounds to try and flank around and get a rear charge onto some skink positions and try and break those guys. My opponent could just go for a Temple Guard grind. I do think that would be a little tough for me to deal with, but I think with Locus of Wrath, even with Corngors and just like 1 Bloodletter and some Minos, I can still grind those guys down. Marauder Horsemen can kind of flank onto the edge of the Temple Guard units and throw in against them, plus the Bloodletter summons will be good against those guys. I think we'll be fine, regardless of the Lizard build here. Just gonna have to not fumble the positioning. Alright. Yeah, he's got Nakai, which is honestly the most unsurprising pick I've ever seen. He's got the cohort of Waddle and Sacred Croxagores here. He's got he's got 1 Javelin cohort, and he's got 1 Temple Guard, actually. We're gonna try and actually push the number 2. We're just gonna send these guys straight for the back point. And we're gonna get this cap here very quickly, and we're gonna start getting our Minotaurs out, because the Minotaurs are going to do a very good job of cutting off space as the cohort of Waddle have to maneuver around. And Nakai, we can kind of shoot to death here.
I serve the X-Father. Marauders of the North. X-Fathers, Marauders.
Alright, this isn't going too bad right now. Just positioning up and getting ready for the fight. He's got a lot of Feral Cold Ones on the way in, which is fine. I'm not super worried about that. It looks like he's going to go pretty hard for the push. Let's push the Marauders up first, and the Wrathmongers can kind of wait in the wings and come in a minute. It's got red-crested skinks. Let's get our cultists away from here, because Nakai will kill the hell out of these guys. I'd really like to have them for later in the game. We're going to just net them here and then run away. And if my opponent wants to push into the forest here and fight me, then so be it, honestly. It really won't be the end of the world. Especially with the fact that we're going deep on his back objective here. We're going to start really positioning aggressively for this. Got the Minotaurs going up. We're going to run away. We're going to leave one Marauder here, actually. Marauders can just keep fighting here, and we're going to actually keep pulling back. Because we're going to need a little bit of a force to defend our back point.
Follow the blood. Takers of skulls.
And let's get around, because we're going to get these skink skirmishers. I actually see a pretty good opportunity to try and overwhelm them back here. Or we can just charge the rear of this skink cohort. And the Minotaurs are going to come back here and start beating these guys up. Maneuver around, maneuver around. He broke through here, but that's fine because it's a lot of Marauders, right? I mean, it's not really anything all that important. Minos get the win here. We're going to charge here. We're going to pull back here. And we're going to have the Marauders just start forming a nice little line. And we get a huge win on this point. Oh my god, we are just rolling up the ferals right now. We're actually going to attack the Temple Guard. Just keep killing the skinks. Try and get through here. We're running off a lot of his skirmishers, which is a huge win right now.
Yes.
Yeah, here comes the push on our back objective, which is fine. We're going to get the Wrathmongers to rally back to the middle and start attacking here. He's got one unit here. We're going to run away a little bit. We're going to get our last Minotaur out, and then we'll really start going deep. We're going to use the skirmishers against the cohort. And we're going to give a nice, huge buff to these units that are grinding in this fight. We're going to get over here and start attacking these guys. Pull back. We just want the Minos for any units that get pulled out of position here. Like these skinks, actually, are in a really ugly spot, but they're going to run away, actually. Although we could actually just charge these guys down, because a nice flank there should just fold them up. Drop this here, pull back here, fight here. These guys are going to rally back and go run these dudes down. We're going to send our double Marauder back over, and they're going to go after some units out here. Do you have a, I think I'm actually going to drop my Sword of Corn here. It's honestly not a bad spot to use it. You can see the Temple Guard have just gotten absolutely annihilated here in the middle fight. There's just a handful of them left. I think I am going to use my summon here. Double Marauder fighting out here. These Marauders need to run the hell away because the Cohort of Waddle will beat them. We'll get a Korngor over and just try and rally up a little bit. And we're going to beat these guys up and hopefully grab that point real quick. Yeah, you can see the Golden Spear Riders, dude. I mean, they're not doing terribly, but they're really struggling. I meant to hit one Minotaur is going to go down. We're going to get more Korngors, though. The more we pull Nakai around, the less effective my opponent's army is going to be. He's going to try and keep some of the Sacred Croxagors alive. He's doing the best he can. I think my opponent's running out of steam enough that we're going to be able to win this game. Let's rally back to the home point. I'm going to use my Horsemen to just keep attacking the Javelins here. Because you can see my opponent is not giving these guys orders the way he really should be. With a couple of good cycle charges here, we should be able to break the position. We're going to try and pull back. Pull back. The cultists should come back, and now we can send these guys back over. Get rid of this fight. Grabbing this objective. Kill these guys. Move over. Another Corngore and another flank might actually win me this game. Right now, right here. Yeah, we're gonna get a ginormous buff with this cast here. Run, 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 run. I don't know why they stopped. Let's actually leave the Marauders here, and the Wrathmongers are gonna be the one who move over. Attack here. Just snare here, just for the memes. I mean, the snare's not really going that hard for me, but it's really not too bad. I gave you orders to go to the middle point. I don't know what the hell you think you're doing, buddy. Getting back to here. Gonna summon in Bloodletters. They're just nice. All-purpose infantry. You can see my opponent's got some cohorts moving in. Trying to attack here. We just killed all of his stuff, and we just run away from Nakai now. There's no need to stick around here. Kai's just going to be really obnoxious. I don't really want to deal with him. He's really not that important. Look at the Chaos Warhound with 200, almost 300 kills, dude. That is absolutely crazy. Oh, gigantic win, dude. We just attacked aggressively, and Molly got overwhelmed by how many positions he was trying to maneuver around in. He got a couple wins, but it was all just calculated. It was all calculated losses, essentially. Dude, a Chaos Warhound with 900 Valiant, 275 kills is ridiculous. It was just feasting on the retreating skinks, baby. Oh my god. Herald didn't get a lot of value, but that's not really what he's for. It's there for buffs and other shenanigans. Corngores kind of got run over, but Minotaurs were awesome. They were very solid there for the most part. One of them got bullied a little bit, but the other two were doing really nice. One Cohort Javelin got good value, but the Temple Guard struggled. One Seeker Croxagore didn't do much. Cohort of Waddle were doing good for a minute there, but they ran out of space, and you know, Nakai's good, and he did have Curse of Honor here on his Skink Priest, but you know, the old buffs, debuffs are only going to go so far. If you're just completely surrounded, even if your opponent has very low melee attack, you're still going to start smacking people. No ROR Mongers, because I wanted to fit in the Warhound. So, I just went with the basic guys. They're really strong still. Great unit. You don't need the ROR Mongers. Bloodwake Berserkers are good into specific matchups. And baseline Wrathmongers are arguably just better now because of the nerfs. Kind of brought these guys back into a reasonable state of being. A baseline Wrathmonger really isn't that much weaker than the Bloodwake Berserkers while being cheaper, so usually I find these guys to be a little bit more budget-friendly for your army. And honestly, for me, that just works more. I like bringing very balanced builds. Yeah, I wouldn't normally bring 3 Minos, but against Lizards, triple Mino really is not, honestly, a weak strategy. Too many Minos can be hard to manage, and they can downtrade a little bit because you need to make sure that you've got some protection for them, and you can run out of space if you have a bunch running around everywhere. So that map though, really nice for them because of the Woodsman trait. Anytime they're fighting against sacred Croxies in the woods, or just any Lizardman unit, they'll be fighting at full effect. So I'm running them. Usually I bring Blood Beasts. I actually really love Blood Beast swarms now. With like 1 Mino great weapon as like super heavy anti-large punching power. Blood Beasts are just way faster and a lot more maneuverable. Something that doesn't get talked about a lot is turn speed on units. It was a big point of emphasis a couple patches ago, maybe closer to 3 or 4 now. When they changed all the cavalry turn speed, it was a big buff to mobility in general. Minotaurs actually turn around fairly slowly. They're a little, stout, I guess, you know? The Blood Beasts are a lot more agile. They can whip around and really put stress on your opponent as you can reposition them very aggressively. So it's not just the, like, what, extra 9 speed? A little bit, yeah, the extra 9 speed is nice, but solid overall contributors. I just really, really love the affordability of these guys. I mean, you can bring 4 Blood Beasts, and then with some Herald buffs, they can be even more effective than Minos, arguably. It's gonna be a minute before the next round. I think Mystical Wise Wizard and Bird are playing right now. Wizard actually beat Big B's. Big B is a really good player. So good for, honestly, really good for them. That's great. But Bird may be a little bit of more of a match. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye out. Might only be in this one tournament, but I've got some other replays that we can go through. Given the time. I don't know how Otto feels about me checking in for this, because I think this we're in the first leg right now of these tournaments. Let me actually just flip you over so I can just show you what I'm looking at. So you can see first leg, second leg, and third leg. They're all single elimination brackets. So I'm in the first leg right now. Second one should have started. Let's actually see who's doing good here. Oh, wow. Berserk is here. Barl's Sharkly already won a round. Renataki beats Scimitar. Or Scimitar, technically. Maximilianaire over Final Boss. Clipsy over Empire. Polaris over Zasus Iris. I don't know if we're going to be able to sign up for this last one. I mean, I could lose to Wizard. Wizard beat Bird. What the hell is Wizard on right now? That's crazy. Bird is a great player. Actually beat me in a grand final not too long ago, so I don't know who the hell this person is, but they're going through it. They're grinding through some top talent, honestly. It's awesome to see. If we win this game, we'll be in finals. That'd be pretty sick. I'd love to get a dub here. Epic Garfield gamer guy. What a dude. What a dude. What map are we on? Actually, don't remember, so... Okay. We're in round 4. Lost Temple of Sotek. That's a pretty good map. I lost on this map the other day to a High Elf army that I just absolutely blundered spectacularly against. It's a little bit painful. Let me set up the army picker. Create, hosting. Doesn't really matter who's hosting or not. I mean, it's a blind picker, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, he's already got one. Well, RIP my new window. Go away. Guest. We're gonna do more corn? I mean, Warriors of Chaos are probably a little bit safer against somebody. I literally have no idea what this person plays normally. Corn does have bad matchups. I mean, genuinely awful ones. Warriors of Chaos don't have any truly stupendous ones, but they're just such a versatile faction. But I think we'll just keep going with what we've got. I mean, oh, he's on Vampire freaking Coast? No way, dude. Oh, this is a pretty good map for going up against Coast, honestly. Who do we run here? Oh, Bloodspeaker would be so funny. But Bloodspeaker is really terrible. Bloodspeaker is absolute god-awful, atrocious dog shit. Honestly. I think that would just be soft throwing, to be honest. Herald again wouldn't be bad. I'd run Arbol if Arbol could actually fight in trees. I don't know why Arbol doesn't have Strider. I mean, come on, please give Fleshhound Strider for Criminy Jimsmas' sake. I mean, why not? They're supposed to be these unstoppable, beastly, demonic hounds, you know? They're really not that strong as is. Strider really wouldn't even make them that much better. It would just give them maybe, arguably, a little bit of a niche on maps like Sotek or something. But whatever. Maxing out on Furies against Coast is always a good idea. They hate Furies. Furies are really tough against them. I could run Arbol, but I could also run Herald. I really love the Herald right now. This isn't a great matchup for Valkia. It's a little tough for her. Do you need Tormentor Sword? Locus of Wrath is still going to be good. It's going to be really good giving buffs to stuff. I think Tormentor Sword is worth it still. We'll do one Cultist. One Cultist in the opener. Some Chaos Warriors. I actually like opening up with a couple of throwing axes. I think they're surprisingly strong here. We're gonna do, I think we'll just do double Blood Beast. Actually, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually go a little bit in reverse of what I normally do. Marauder Horsemen are just good cap weight early, so that's why I like bringing them in then. Korngor is really strong because they got ITP. Very safe, stable unit in this matchup. Forsaken, fairly good, but maybe I want to go a little bit wider. We've got a couple of warriors, we've got our cultists, we've got 1,400 gold left. What do we lack here? Do kind of lack bodies, so maybe another Marauder, maybe a Marauder and a Forsaken isn't a bad idea. Blood Beasts don't fight great in forests, but I think there's enough open space to maneuver them around effectively still. Get some good fights with them. Could cut the Forsaken, though. Go double Mino, get these guys. Cut the dual weapon Marauder. It's a little awkward on the spend, though. Maybe we don't need that many Furies. Skull Reapers might not actually be a bad call. Skull Reapers and get rid of the Corn Gores and get a Forsaken. We've got, yeah, because we've got the Minotaurs now. They're good anti-large. Skull Reapers are actually fairly good against all targets. Got an Unbreakable unit here. Hellforge Bellers, some pressure against guns. Does really good damage. It's also really good against Depth Guard, which I don't have great answers for right now, other than the Skull Reapers and the Herald. Be a little tough to rely on the Bruise of the Hound to clear a Depth Guard rush. I think we're set. Do what we can. The third leg's gonna get delayed, I think. So we may be able to jump in there if we get knocked out in this game. This is a surprisingly tough matchup. Yeah, the last Lizard player was so good and handsome. I agree. You played really well, Molly. It's just really tough for Lizards to survive Corn mobility play. It gets real rough for them pretty fast. Keep the Brutes of the Hound over here. The Chaos Warriors, I'll probably push the middle with early. He's got 13 units. It's actually a pretty small coast army. Anything less than like 15 units for coast in the opener usually means they're going for some kind of big monster mash. To some degree, at least. It's not always like Silostra and a Gallows Giant or something, but it's usually going to be like Silostra on the Crab, and then maybe like a Depth Guard or two, with just some like Bombers and Deckhand mobs. Maybe a Mourngul mixed in like the Night Terrors early. So we'll need to be careful of it. Herald's going to be great. I mean, we'll be able to Torment your Swords, some Mournguls, and keep them from retreating, and then we can bring in our units to punish, like the Minotaurs. Throwing Axes are here for the Lamprey's Revenge. That's why these guys are so good in this matchup. Minotaurs actually don't do great into the Lampreys, but the Throwing Axes with their armor piercing and flaming attacks rip the Lamprey's Revenge apart, because the Lampreys do have regen. So Throwing Axes just hard counter them. Just one Throwing Axe can do it also, which is the best part of it. Makes for a really nice engagement for you. We might push our opponent's #1 objective. It's definitely not going to be easy, but I'm not too fussed about it. I think we can manage an aggressive push back there. I've been doing it in the other two games, right? Like the last two, I've been fairly aggressive, and it's been working out for the most part, so see if we can keep that going. It is Gallows Giant, and he does have Lampreys out immediately. He's got some handgunners. We can outrange all of these units with the Bellowers, so we'll be able to punish this pretty hard, actually. And we're going to keep our Herald nice and safe in the forest for now. And we can actually use the Bellowers against his Fleet Admiral. He doesn't have Gaze and a Gash, so he doesn't have a great way to punish this thing. It's on guard mode. Let's just be patient, actually. Let's not get in range and take unnecessary damage on our Bellowers. My opponent can actually shoot it with the pistol here. Let's just threaten his #1 objective, right? I mean, not terrible. We're gonna keep our units posted up a little bit defensively right now. Here's an opening right here. We're gonna shoot, we'll shoot the deckhand mob, actually. It's not like the most effective target in the world, but these guys do have a lot of HP. They can actually be fairly annoying to grind through. Can we... That's a long flank, so I actually really don't think it's worth it. So he's got a depth guard coming in. That's where we want to send the Bellers, actually. We're going to actually use it to try and set my opponent up. We'll see if he mispositions his units here. We're going to just pull back a little bit and play a little bit duplicitously. We summon the Minotaurs on the wrong side, which is a shame. Let's actually attack here. Fury or a Horseman? I actually kind of like the idea of... I actually think a Fury here is going to be a good call. You can see the Brutes of the Hound are getting smacked up right now by those bombs, which is not ideal. And we can still get our throwing axe in. I'm going to start working on these guys here. Push around. Night Terrors are on the way in. Actually try and get away from here for a moment. This is getting a little bit it's getting a little bit less than ideal for me. But yeah, we got a really nice engagement here with these guys. The cultist is actually fairly safe right now. Let's attack here. He doesn't really have a lot of bombers, to be honest. The Gallows Giant is doing good damage. We're going to position over to start doing some chip damage to him. Herald's going to go in. I forgot about the Hellforged Bellers. Oh my god. Completely forgetting about that is a huge blunder, honestly. But we got a nice engagement against the Night Terrors out on the flank over here. Oh man, but my positioning is definitely not ideal right now, to be honest. Emperor's Revenge are in a pretty good spot. I'm trying to shoot the Gallows Giant and really not doing too hot, so... Got some deck dropper bombs on the way in. We're gonna buff this fight up to just try and win this. Night Terrors are getting wrecked by the Minotaurs right now, which is awesome, and we have ground down quite a few of these units, and we're gonna drop our summon here. And we're gonna start bullying this Depth Guard. Let's go get this guy. Probably need to get this guy out of here. Now the nice thing is my opponent has not been shooting me very effectively. We can go around, we can attack here. My horsemen are struggling to actually stay in position because of the shooting from my opponent. Keep attacking here. What can we bring up? Probably Forsaken is a good call. Or actually saving up the Skull Reaper is the right way to go about this. We're shutting down his shooting, and we've actually killed a lot of his other pretty important units, to be honest. I mean, we just ground down this Depth Guard into nothing. Brutes of the Hound are still alive. They're not doing terribly. My opponent's going to try and land there, I'm pretty sure. Got the kill here. We're going to go over here and kill these guys. He did land the bats, but that's fine. We don't have to engage them. We did back cap him, which is pretty hilarious, honestly. He's trying to back cap me over here. We're gonna move the Skull Reapers over here and just rally up all my horsemen to go back there for now. Furies are getting some really good damage off. We're gonna attack here. Alright, let's actually get back. Because the Furies are just a really nice unit, right? I want to try and keep them alive. Let's maneuver over. Infantry stay. Units move. Sword is not super useful here. Nor is it particularly useful back here, but this is going to be really useful. Try and just run away here. No reason to continue that engagement. So we got most of the scurvy dogs killed. Now we're going to get up in the air and just charge the bomber bats. Because those guys are probably going to die. We just want to get whatever damage we can get in. We saved our back point. We've got the Skull Reapers moving over. The Horsemen have not been great, but, you know, they're doing what they can. There's the other ones over here. We're going to get a Minotaur because we need one more to actually attack the Gallows Giant here. We're just going to push these guys back over. And the Herald's doing great against the Lampreys. He's actually killing them very effectively right now, which is beautiful. And the Furies, man. Oh, you'll love to see some very low health Furies continuing their rampage. I tell you. We're just going to sack the Horsemen. And just keep pushing Big Boy there. Whatever these guys can do, they're just going to get in there and do. It's time to start summoning out dual weapons. I mean, my opponent's lost pretty much everything now. He's got one handgun, which is whatever. Yeah, he's already unbunching here. Oh, but he's got these. I bet he's not paying attention to this either. Even if he is, he's not going to be able to move out of the way in time. Dude, Sword is a meme ability, but I'm telling you, dude, it works. It works. It does damage. Just roll away. No point in sticking around with the Herald. You don't need to take any unnecessary damage. Him and the Bellowers are just going to kind of chill here and just do damage. And we're going to roll over and we're going to start shooting the units that are moving up onto this point. A little bit of a mistake letting them actually just walk onto it, but whatever. We've got the triple cap right now, so position-wise, we're in a massively favorable state right now. I might actually use my, oh, forget this, dude. Kill the bomber bats. And yeah, we're gonna use Slaughter's call here, actually. Oh, he's got the, I forgot about this handgunner over here. I really want to let my guy get shot, so I kind of just roll around. Cultist has really not done anything, per se, but not been terrible, and the Fury's got 1500 value, which is really hilarious. My opponent is very much on the back foot. We've got a huge lead. I forgot about some units over here because they just ripped apart the big guy, and you know, we've got a very settled and established position here right now. He's gonna have an awful time recontesting me. Brutes of the Hound only got 400 or 800 value, so a little bit off of their cost, but not the end of the world. Just gonna keep summoning Marauders out. Marauders are mid in the early game. Absolutely disgusting in the late game. And this is where Tormentor's Sword locks down the Lord, and the Minotaurs are gonna pummel this dude into the Shadow Realm. I mean, look at them rip and tear through this. Absolutely disgusting. Just gonna use the Bellers to blast these things. Oh my god. Are we gonna get the dub today? Bro. $1,500, $1,500, $2,000, $1,600. Jeez Louise. These single entities didn't. His Lampreys did okay. The Gallows Giant did okay. All of his other stuff just got absolutely freaking run over, though. Depth Guard got chunked. Really, I only used like 3 or 4 shots from the Bellowers, and it was all that it needed to do. Rest of the time, I was just killing stuff in melee. And his bombers got shut down so hard by the Furies. I mean, look at the value on these things. 59, 315 on the Salt Lord Scuttlers. My goodness. And only 354 on this one. Night Terrors with 200. The other Morgul only had like 200. Huge letdown for my opponent, honestly. He got 1,000 on one of his handgunners, but the other got 183, which is really terrible. It's the bomber mobs that actually did the most damage here. But not enough. You know, not enough. The Khorne split pushing strategy stays pretty undefeated. Woo! Mega sweaty. Mega sweaty. Well, going for those back pushing strategies is so risky, especially early on. Because your opponent's got the 500 supplies out the gate, and he can get his stuff to that point very quickly. We did avoid just enough damage, and that Bloodletter summon, I would not be surprised if the Cultist Bloodletter summon actually got around 600-700 value, because it was there on top of the Cultist, helping against that Depth Guard unit that was trying to attack him. And yeah, the Bellowers got a really good shot off on that Depth Guard unit, but the Bloodletters were there to mop up the remainder of the enemy. And from there, without the Night Terrors and the Depth Guard on that point, even though the Brutes of the Hound and I think I had a Chaos Warrior over there were pretty beat up for a lot of those fights, it was still enough to really bully my opponent around. And Gallows Giant is great, but if you can't stick on one point with it, that's where it really falls apart, because it's really short range. You just play away from the away from the Gallows Giant, and it becomes a very, very difficult unit to value trade effectively with. It just doesn't have a lot of cap presence is the problem. You know, it's just one really expensive single entity for the Coast. And, you know, Coast wants to heal their big monsters, right? I mean, 2,000 gold unit, you can beat up on it, and then your opponent just drops, like, Invocation of Nehek, which my opponent did have. And get this thing nice and juiced up again, and, you know, it was all for naught. Chipping at it with the Horsemen and just focusing my opponent to, like, stay on the middle point while I won on the side point, then gave me an opportunity to overwhelm in the middle with superior mobility. It's probably going to be me and Serkia in the finals, and I don't know if I'm equal to the task of beating Wood Elves. To be honest, it's a really tough matchup for Khorne. It is not unwinnable by any means, but it is definitely one of the tougher matchups in the game. There's Coast. I'm gonna take a minute to get a feel for the final map. I just want to see what it is. Oh, we're going to be on Imperial Road. Oh, no. So that's 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. Oh, man. I don't really love the idea of playing Wood Elves on Imperial Road. It's not the worst map to fight them on, but it's definitely not great. Although Brave Alley's not much better, to be honest. Believe in the heart of the cards. Me too, man. Oh my god. Dude, Yu-Gi-Oh! is the bomb back in the day. I've never really been a huge anime person, but that was one of the ones that, you know, I didn't mind watching when it came on. When was it always on? Just like Saturdays and Sundays in the middle of the day, mostly. They had like a 5 or 6 episode block usually. I usually got pretty engrossed in the episodes. It was always fairly entertaining. It was super cheesy, which helped. I either want something that's like, you know, like peak cinema, you know, that's going to get my heart racing, or I just want something that's absolutely guts out, stupid and ridiculous, and that was Yu-Gi-Oh, you know. Voice acting was something else, dude. Oh my god. It's a shame that you didn't have Yu-Gi-Oh when Twitter was really kicking off, because I feel like it would have gotten memed to death, even more than it already has, you know. There's a lot of, like, old-school nostalgia for it, but Twitter millennials getting their hands on Yu-Gi-Oh as it was coming out and memeing it to death on Twitter would have been a real thing. If it had just been a few years later that it had hit TV in the States. Fairly convinced. I don't know if Otto and... I don't know where Otto and Circia are at in their match. I think they might have started just recently, because Otto was a little behind. Did end up beating Shaftesbury. Circia beat Son of Heaven. Both of them are lizard players. Wood Elves are pretty good against lizards. They really just shred lizard men with their missiles. It's rough for the lizard folk. Let me flip you over, and we can kind of talk about it. So, yeah, here's Wood Elves. Oh my god, please stop selecting it all. This is where they're at against lizards right now. 73%. It's a pretty crazy win rate. Like, you know, above 50 is usually a pretty good sign that it's in your favor, and Khorne is similarly at a disadvantage against Wood Elves. Khorne does have counterplay, though. There's definitely strategies for dealing with that matchup. It's a little bit of a gamble, though, is the problem against Wood Elves. Like, Wood Elves just always have an advantage depending on what their build is over yours. It's very rare that you as Khorne are going to have a massively favored build against the Wood Elves. You gotta be very, very careful and discerning about what you're running there. It's the matchup I'm most worried about. I mean, Norska is a really rough one for Khorne. I swear there's gotta be a way to actually win that, though. So, you know, 11 and 21 I think is a little deceptive. Khorne also, I think, is a little better against Empire than 5 and 13. I've had some success with just going double Skull Cannon into them. Honestly been pretty effective. It's just a very sweaty micro style. Sorry, guys. I'm just answering a text message real quick. I'd love to do another one of my replays, but I don't know if we've got enough time. TBH. I'm fairly certain these guys are going to be done soon. Maybe we can just start one. I'll keep an eye out on Discord, though. I've got so many here, man. I don't know where to start, honestly. A lot of these I haven't really shown off, either. Did I play this on stream? I think I did. This game against Berserk I haven't shown off. This was an interesting match for sure, man. Berserk is one of the best players out there, period. No contest. I mean, he is a beast. His walk build into Khorne is just absolutely bonkers. I didn't think he was going to bring this again. It's been a while since I played him. The fact that he still had this build on standby against me tells me that he just is always bringing something different depending on who he's facing, so this is what he thinks works against me. I did tailor my strategy a little bit to be a little bit more prepared for just absolute insanity with the Aeson shenanigans. Skirmishers are grabbing the number 3 objective. I've got some Khorne Gores on the number 2 to slow down his cap here, and I'm grabbing the number 1. With the Hounds, I'm just going to pull those guys back, and I got a million Marauders. Really good at holding points. Not so good against anything my opponent has. They're going to be good buffering against the throwing axes. I'm trying to get a surround here. Trying to cut off the retreat of his Marauder Horseman of Nurgle, but I don't quite get the surround. Do get a nice volley, though, with the throwing axes. We're just going to pull back. He's going to run his horseman into a nice little volley from mine, and, you know, we're staying fairly even with him, which is the most I can ask for right now. Chaos Sorcerer is using Forbidden Rod. He's trying to just use the Withering and Enfeebling Foe against me. Just, you know, whenever he can on cooldown, essentially. A little bit of damage against the horsemen. Skull Cannons aren't great against them. I want to use it against the halberds, but his halberds are on the low ground, obviously. And he gets a nice little Maelstrom of Change there from Aeson. It's fairly long range, actually. 200 meters. Does spread out and hit a few of my units, but nothing too catastrophic. Just the Warhounds taking a little bit of HP damage. But that's okay. They're really just here to be cap weight wherever the throwing axes go, so that if my opponent maneuvers over to the number 3 with all 3 of them, he can't just steal it away immediately, because he has to respect the spacing on the Warhounds, because Warhounds can rip apart Marauder Horsemen fairly quickly, too. Nice damage from the Skull Cannon, the Vortex doing some good damage to the Nurgle variant of the throwing axes, and Valkia's up in the sky. She gets hit by a volley from the Horsemasters, but nothing bad. And Sila's in now. Sila with nothing on him, I think, is a really good call. This was one of the games where I really started to get back to using the Monkey. You know, Monkey is just an absolute badass. He is just shockingly strong. Khorne Gore is getting worn out, but better these guys getting shot up than anything else, really. Maelstrom of Change doing some more damage. This one hitting a lot more of my units, but again, nothing atrocious for me. It's a very, very short duration ability, and there's only one left. Once it's over and done with, I'll be in a lot better position. Starting to get a little bit of a value lead, which is definitely very worrying for me. I was getting a little antsy, but the Slaughter Guard come up, and yeah, Slaughter Guard are a great unit. Very, very, very hard to kill for the most part, but double Skull Cannon, definitely going to be able to bully these guys a little bit. And I do dodge very effectively away from his Chaos Lord. Just maneuver the Skull Cannons through my Marauders, and they immediately trap up the Chaos Lord. I send Valkia in just to threaten an engagement. She's going to land in front of this guy, and she's going to get a couple of swings in here. Start doing some damage, and Slaughter Guard with the double Skull Cannons really starting to get smacked up here. Sorcerer, with the Shadows magic, is trying to help out my throwing axes. They're a little damaged. They get hit by another Maelstrom of Change here. Valkia getting attacked by Aeson, but I just popped Demon Shield. I'm going to be preparing to maneuver her out of here. And I've got 4 throwing axes who are all going to be focusing on the Chaos Lord and on Aeson, since, you know, he's pretty engaged in here. Just got to get Valkia out. Valkia cannot get sniped here. That would basically be the end of her. She cannot fight the Chaos Lord or Scylla as effectively as I would like. Or Aeson, rather. So Scylla is going to come in here and start drawing the aggro. Scylla is much better in this trade. You know, you can see him starting to smack up the Chaos Lord a little bit. Not amazing value. Chaos Lord is just really tough to get through the 62 melee defense, but my throwing axes are putting some pressure on him. And the throwing axes here have to get really close in to start throwing at Scylla, which gives me a little bit of an opportunity to maybe engage on these guys, but Berserk with a really good control is pulling back. Weird Spawn come in, but they also similarly take surprisingly good damage from the Skull Cannons, because the single entity damage from the actual missile shot is pretty high. I mean, it will wear out the Spawn pretty quickly here. And the less time that I allow the Weird Spawn and the Slaughter Guard to sit on top of everything and just grind, the better for me. Pulling back with my Marauders here, just threatening the cap on this point. I've got the Warhounds out there as well, just to protect against the Horsemasters from, like, hard engaging with the Halberds onto my Marauders, and I'm bringing a Bloodletter forward to push that bottom point again. My opponent is capping the middle. You know, nothing I can really do about that, but we are getting some slight picks around the edges of his formation. You can see he's really far behind on the value trades now. My Khorngor is losing to the Slaughter Guard, but the Slaughter Guard just keep getting hammered by all the units just dogpiling in on top of them and just swarming over them and kind of overwhelming these guys. Another Khorngor here is going to jump on top of the Weird Spawn, who are just massively out of position now. They are on top of the Chaos Sorcerer, which is getting them favor of the Ruinous Power is not so useful, but a little bit of physical resistance and Perfect Vigor is nice. But Scylla, Valkia, and Khorngors are going to make very short work of the Weird Spawn. You can see their HP really started to tank. Nobody's messaged me on Discord. Fury's getting in here. Most of my throwing axes are gone. I've got a Marauder kind of out in no man's land. Definitely want to rally those guys back. My throwing axes, they're about out of ammo. Nothing tremendous out of them. But they've been fairly solid, and same with the Skull Cannons. Nothing amazing here, but good consistent value. Scylla getting roasted a little bit. You know, the Slaughter Guard and Aeson are all over him. Valkia's getting in here. I believe she's got Demon Shield available right now, which is why I'm not worried about the duel. It's not ideal, but we've got enough bodies in here to kind of buffer, and yeah, Demon Shield goes down as the Chaos Lord of Nurgle and Aeson are trying to smack her up, and Scylla is over here just getting his value back. He's 1225 without anything on him, so 1100 isn't great, but you can see he gets another good swing in there, and he's paid for himself, which is really all I need. And the Bloodletters and the Warhounds are going to break this Chaos Warrior Halberd down here. Finally get an opportunity to engage with these guys. I just use them to hard engage onto the rear of the Halberds, and we get a great early break here. And Horsemasters want to come to the low ground. I'm going to run away with the Hounds real quick and have the Bloodletters eat the charge. Because my opponent's trying to charge the Hounds, actually, which means the Bloodletters are not suffering too terribly from the charge damage on the Horsemasters, which is actually pretty respectable. These guys do hit pretty hard in melee, even. A pop Horn of Corn, which means that the Bloodletters are just absolutely roasting the Horsemasters, and now the Hounds are in a good enough position to actually chase these guys down. Beat Up Marauder's going to go over there and start trying to hold that down, and you can see that I'm having a little bit of trouble finishing off all the single entities, but they're fairly well controlled here. I've still got the objective lead. I've got a value lead as well. I've got some Minotaurs in and some tattered units just to keep my opponent occupied here in the middle. Marauder's getting broken. Aeson has just been an absolutely great boss. 2100 on him. Okay, next round is up, but I'd really like to get through this because You'll see how it shakes out. Chaos Warhounds of my opponent are putting a little pressure on the number 3. I've got my Marauders with an attack order onto them there. I'm just trying to stress Berserk's Micro as much as possible. Slaughter Guard, I've gotten 1400 value. You know, it took a long time to break them down, but it's been slow and steady, and at the end of the day, that's, you know, it's about as good as you can ask for sometimes. Hounds and the Skull Cannons engaging onto the Horsemen here, and I'm YOLOing in my throwing axes. They're out of ammo. I use them in here just to get the Skull Cannons out. The Skull Cannons are going to start shooting the Forsaken here. Forsaken are a really annoying unit to deal with as Khorne, but not so much when you've got the Skull Cannons to deal with them. Doom Knights just got dogpiled on by a bunch of Khorne Gores, and then some Furies, and Valkia was there to chip them down. Valkia has 1300 value, nothing tremendous out of her, but just good, consistent value is really what you need from her. She's going to get a beautiful Sleipnir here. Decent little dodge from Berserk. It would have been much more devastating if he hadn't moved, but it's still a decent chunk of damage onto the Forsaken. You can see that gets Valkia about 150 value. Minotaur's pushing real deep, but my opponent doing a great job of disengaging. He's popping that magic and just trying to keep me away from him. Aeson 2400, Skull Cannons are doing a good job of holding in here. The longer I've got them on the field, the better my fights over the course of time will continue to be, because they'll just drag down all of the infantry slowly but surely. And my opponent does slip up with the Warhounds. My Marauders do get engaged onto them and chew them up pretty badly, and Khorne Gores, Marauders, and some more tattered Marauders just trying to hold on to the objectives. The Bloodletters and the Warhounds go down, but they got some pretty good value, all things considered. He's got another throwing axe over here. Khorne Gore's rallying, killing the last of the Slaughter Guard. His beat up Chaos Warrior Halberds and a throwing axe are trying to cap this point, but the Khorne Gores will be able to push onto that in just a moment. My Minotaurs get kind of clowned on. His Chaos Lord has the Rot or Die available, so it's just an AoE melee reflection and leadership buff. Very strong, very, very difficult to survive through. It really munched through my Marauder's HP, but his poor little War Shrine gets pulled out of position a little bit, and Valkia, the Bloodletter, and throwing axes are able to pull that down. I thought I left the Bloodletter down there, but I guess I rotated them. And had the Khorne Gore replace. It's actually a pretty good call on my part. The other Khorne Gore over here is in a little bit of trouble. Aeson is still pummeling them, but you can see the HP is not looking so good on these guys. One Skull Cannon is crumbled off. The other one is... or one of them is about to crumble. Barely hanging on here. Both of them barely hanging on. And Sila's back on the field, and he's just chasing Aeson around. Aeson has 3,400 value, which is pretty amazing. Chaos Lord and Nurgle, not doing so hot, though, and now Minotaurs, they did rout a minute ago, but they rally back in, and now they're getting some good damage in. Rot or Die goes down again, though. Melee Reflection hurting those guys, and the Khorne Gore's also going to take some damage from that, but the critical re-engagement of Sila and Valkia landing in here. I'm able to snipe the Chaos Lord, and Aeson actually routs, and if he hadn't have routed, I'd have been able to chase him down or kill him with something, either Horseman or Sila. I resecured all the objectives. This Marauder unit out here did a great job of holding the Khorne Gores over here, just eating axes, and I'm just, you know, making do with what I have elsewhere. Honestly, a hectic, razor-close game. Pretty back and forth. The early game, I just stayed close enough in value trading, so I didn't get pulled out of position. Once he started getting presence onto the middle point, I was able to keep a little bit more of a distance from him, and I didn't get sucked into blob fights nearly as much as the last time we played, where I just got Aeson just like terror routed and Mortis Engine down all of my stuff. Aeson did amazing here still, but he just wasn't able to break me quite the same way, and I really credit Sila for a lot of that. He was not amazing. the first time around. He just managed to get his value back, but he occupied a lot of aggro from the skirmishers, the Chaos Lord, and Aeson, and still managed to pay for himself, so that was huge. Gave me a chance to engage Bloodletters on the low ground and grind down the halberds, and find success on the objectives, which started to force Berserk to not be able to unsummon his horsemen for any additional supplies, and forced him to engage them in melee, which is where I really started to run away from him, and was able to just keep bouncing between points and stopping him from getting any kind of advantage. Wood Elves are actually really good against the Dowie. They're probably favored even there, to be honest. Wood Elves can struggle with aggression, which is why the Khorne matchup isn't abysmal. Like, Khorne does not just get completely flattened by the Wood Elves. It is definitely not easy, though, which is what I need to be very careful of. I forgot what map we're on. It's Imperial Road. Yeah. Imperial Road, that's right. This isn't the worst map, like I said, to fight Wood Elves. If Serkia isn't playing Wood Elves, then I'm gonna have to eat my own feet, because that would be about as surprising as anything else. Alright, I really want to give y'all a good final match. I'm not going to stream any longer than this last game here, so hopefully it's a good one, because last thing I want is to get just run over immediately and then end stream on a sour note. I'll just keep my selection on Beastman for the time being. Maybe Serkia's not as sharp today as he normally is. We'll just see. We could go for a random wild Kislev pick, which would be pretty epic. I mean, Kislev is actually one of the few factions that I think has a pretty good time against Wood Elves. Wood Elves can struggle with Kislev because of the Horsemen, all the Griffin Legion, and the other shenanigans for Kislev are very tough to shut down for the Wood Elves. And shock damage is one of the few effective ways to kill Way Watchers. Trying to kill Way Watchers in melee combat is actually shockingly difficult. They can be a little bit frustrating to lock down. Whereas if Chaos aren't bad into Wood Elves... Got Hawks of Miska as well. I think we're just going to stick with Khorne. Why not? I mean... Run our main. We've gone all the way through the rest of the tournament with Khorne. Why not see if we can round it out with a win here against our mortal enemy? Valkia is pretty good against the Wood Elves. We're going to get some Marauders. We love Marauders. I actually really love Forsaken here. Imperial Road is a really big map, though. And trying to deep push the Wood Elves is a pretty bad idea on a map this big, so maybe we go the Chaos Warrior route with a Skull Cannon to back it up. Chaos Knights are a really good unit also, obviously. Maybe... how's the Blood Hunt? Maybe we can go with a, maybe a Skull Reaper. Wouldn't be a bad option. Actually... Cultist with Icon isn't a bad choice, and Skull Cannon can get 1 Chevron. Skull Cannon could get bullied by, whatchamacallits. Arrow of Kurnus. Maybe not, though. We're just gonna have to kind of see. I think we're gonna go deep on the Forsaken as the reinforcements. I mean, genuinely maxing out on these things is really not a bad way to go about it. And we can get a couple of Chaos Warhounds, because they are surprisingly effective here. For a lot of the same reasons that we've covered earlier, they can be a really nice unit to just, like, run around and get underneath fights. Ooh, but a Blood Shrine, though. Just for some buffs. Yeah, Blood Shrine with a few buffs actually might not be a bad option. Now, the Herald is theoretically good into the Wood Elves. But if the Sisters of Twilight are around, Herald's gonna get his ass handed to him. They're just gonna sit on top of him and just shoot him to death, probably. So I think that's why we're gonna avoid him here. We could end up regretting it, though, because that Tormentor Sword is just so good, right? I mean, it has gotten us a lot of value today. Silate can be similarly effective here, but also can get caught out pretty badly. His Rampage is nice, but not, like, incredible. The Serpentine Tail against the Wood Elves. I don't know. I don't know, guys. We got Silver Shields, we got a lot of Marauders, we got Hounds, we got 1 Skull Cannon. Valkia with the Spear is really good to drop on expensive units. Gate of Corn is nice. Maybe we need another Fury. Although, do we really need another Fury? Because the air fight should be fine with just a couple of them. You don't actually want to use Furies nearly as much as you think against the Wood Elves. I actually don't think they're nearly as good here as you might think. Just having tons of infantry to swarm and then Chaos Knights as the really heavy hammer, I think is the way to go. Khorne isn't really a hammer and anvil faction as much as they are just like hammer into hammer, you know? That's how a lot of their units function. Alright. Let's get this game underway. Let's see if we can get this bread, man. I mean, Circia is up here with 4 tourney wins this season. I don't have a single one to my name right now. I haven't been playing all that much, to be fair, though. I've been doing pretty good in them. It'd just be really nice to actually get the dub. The one other grand final game I got to, I ended up losing to Bird, who got a very well-deserved win against me. 10-unit Wood Elf army, fairly standard size, nothing too crazy there. We got the Cultist, we got our Hounds. I'll just chill. We need to just keep this Cultist alive, and the Infantry just need to push in a nice, solid brick straight to the objective to start locking it down. Hounds and this Marauder are going to grab the number 3. And we need to be, we need to keep our eye out for ambush through the woods. So we're probably going to just, like, cap. And then the Hounds of the Blood Hunt are going to, like, maneuver over and just, like, sit over here for a minute. Maybe we'll scout the trees over here a little bit. Just make sure there's no, funky business going on. Wood Elves can go for some pretty off-the-wall plays. A lot like Beastmen can with, flanks. It's always pretty important to keep an eye out for it. Yeah, I did Golf and Hoofs, so... We're ready to get it started. See what we can do here. Fairly even numbers on each side. I've got 10 in reserve. He's got 10 in reserve. I've got tons of Forsaken and then Chaos Knights, and I'm going to try and get the Chaos Knights out first. Chaos Knights, Shrine, and then just all my Forsaken, and then Furies and Fleshhounds for engaging in whatever fashion is effective, right? And we gotta get value out of the Skull Cannon. It's on guard mode, yeah, okay. Gotta make sure it's on guard mode. Skull Cannons are quick, so... if they're off of guard mode, they can run out of position real quick and get isolated pretty fast. And that can be a death sentence for them. You know, you want to avoid it if you're able. I was actually going for the melee Glade Lord, which is kind of interesting. So going for the dragon character is just the terror route strategy. He wants to try and run my units off the map. He's got Branch Wraith with Shield of Thorns and Earthblood. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 units hidden.
We have a victory point.
Position over here. Let's actually scout the trees real quick. Valkia can go over there too, because Valkia is not going to want to fight the Glade Lord. It's not really a great fight for her. Oh, so that's right. You actually hit these guys. Skull Cannons don't fire up and down hills very well. They can be a little inaccurate, which is, you know, frustrating, but we'll just keep an eye out here.
We have a victory point. Keep it from the foe.
Knight. Doesn't look like there's anything over here, so we're going to maneuver over. Decent little breath attack. Not the end of the world for me. Oh, it's Wild Riders. Okay. So Knights are just going to chill here. We're going to get a nice defensive formation going. He's got all these Starfire shafts. He's going to be trying to clear out my bodies. We're not really in danger with the Skull Cannon. It should be able to get some decent trades here. We're just going to focus down one of these Starfire shafts and work backwards from there, really. Let's get away from here. The Cultist is about to get attacked, which I don't really want to see. He's just going to try and avoid the damage here. Yeah, actually is able to survive it. I can fly over here and drop a Sloughnir onto some of these Glade Guard, honestly. Sisters of the Thorn coming out. Nice unit for my opponent. Let's get some guys over here to kind of screen it. Let's set our hounds up in the forest a little bit. This is actually going to kill this Glade Guard unit. And my opponent is a little slow on the draw, trying to withdraw with these guys, so we get a nice chunk of damage in there. I think it's actually time to start getting a little bit rowdier with a bit of a push here. Yeah, we've got our Knights coming in. We've got a Wildwood Ranger that wants to attack Valkia, probably, so we're just going to make sure that she doesn't get hit by them. Shoot up here now. Pull back here. dive here, attack here, push here, push here. Start getting aggressive. Let's actually start trying to push around the back onto my opponent.
It is my will.
Cultist is fighting. He's getting smacked up pretty bad. It's not, like, amazing by any means.
Brothers in bloodletting! Nose on the sheep! Skulltaker's will.
Let's see what this is. What is it? Great Stag Knights coming in. This is actually not bad for me. Chaos Knights with the Lances should do pretty well here. He's gonna drop the, yeah, he's dropping that, Shield of Thorns, though. That's gonna hurt real bad.
It is done.
Let's charge here. Let's get my, let's try and get my Chaos Knights up through the middle a little bit. Almost got this charged up. Let's attack here.
Glorious bloodshed!
Fights are going a little unevenly, actually. This is not ideal. Let's get a Forsaken up. Gonna be a really nice unit. Let's try and, dogpile the Wild Riders. We're gonna drop a Slaubner on these Wildwood Rangers and this Eternal Guard here. And maybe we'll have a little bit more success. And we're just gonna drop this summon right now before this guy dies. Because he's in a lot of trouble. And that's Sisters of the Thorn attacking me here. Value trading is not good. This is rough right now, but I think we might be able to flip it. Yeah, Serkia's got the bodies and the units on the field that he needs, and I do not have that right now. Oh, damn, dude. I actually really think the Herald would have been the way to go. I think that's what I'm missing here. And I think a build-up strategy might have ended up being a little bit better for me. Because what I think I'm missing here is the ability to just lock down the remainder of the Glade Guard, right? Like, they've done pretty well, you know. They're definitely chewing my units up pretty fierce right now. He's just so far ahead of me, and the Slaubner I hit was pretty nice, but... Got my Marauders breaking all over the place. The Skull Cannon is done well, but it's not, like, grinding super efficiently. I need more out of it, and I don't think I'm going to get that, because eventually a Wild Rider is going to surround it and just finish it off. My Chaos Knights were absolutely terrible. They got nothing done this game for me. I think I needed the Forsaken. I think more Forsaken earlier would have been better, because maybe I could crowd out more space. Some of the Marauders, while the Rangers are here. My opponent's just dogpiling me. And he's going to drop this Helm of Discord, and all of my stuff is going to be doing no damage, so GG's. Oof. It's rough, dude. These units are holding really well, too. What are the Eternal Guard doing? Fine. The Forsaken just aren't getting it done. We're cooked. Damn, dude. Alright. That sucks. Playing another matchup would have been the way to go. And I played too deep into his backline. I overextended with the Hounds. He punished that really clean. One of my Chaos Knights got pulled out of position. The other one just got shot to absolute pieces. Glade Guard got awesome value. The Wild Riders were solid. Glade Lord was good. Stag Knight's got 1,300, and the Sisters of the Thorn did excellently, too. I think Double Skull Cannon might have been better, truthfully. I'd have had a lot more time to poke. Ugh. That's frustrating. Oh, that's a bit of an RIP. It is what it is. We needed to be more discerning about our engagements, and Circia really baited us effectively there. Man, Scylla just something you have to have. I mean, he'd have done pretty well into the Glade Lord. I don't think there's anything else that I could really bring there that would have been substantially better. Just refocusing the summons priority was probably the way to go about it. Maybe just having one Chaos Knight out immediately. And these warriors just feel too slow, dude. I mean, they cannot push those Glade Guard lines. Just maxing out on Marauders and Forsaken. And having the Skull Cannon with 2 Vets and Furies. Hounds in reserve. 1 Chaos Knight with the swords, maybe, and then going for, some dual weapons. Maybe another Flesh Hound, and then Scylla in reserve. With his Rampage. Just trying to hit the Lord and rip him apart. Maybe get the throwing axes. This might have worked better against Circia's build. It's hard to say, though. Super clean Wood Elf play, man. You run into it and you gotta respect it, right? Just a little bit unfortunate. Alright, guys. I said that would be all the time we had after that battle, and I'm going to stick to that. So, I appreciate y'all showing up, showing out. I'll see y'all around. I am not going to be streaming at the normal time for the new player tournament. I've got an appointment that I have to be at around the middle of the day. So I will maybe be streaming that tournament in the evening time. But at the very least on Sunday when I have a for sure free day. So check it out then. I'll make a little announcement about it tomorrow as well. Till next time, guys. Peace out.